Welcome back to our program. I'm your host, Wu Ruiguo. In this segment, we will continue our conversation with Professor Li Ming from the Department of Diplomacy at the National Chengchi University. Professor Li, I'm going to start off with another question on the long-standing six-party talk mechanism. Apparently, because of what happened with North Korea in the last few months, this mechanism has not been very effective. It's not, resumed yet. It's not functional at this point. Why is it? Is it because that getting too many parties involved, people have different sets of interests and priorities, and that's why this multilateral approach will not be very effective, at least now in the case of North Korea, in terms of resolving disputes?
The six-party talks was actually the product of the second nuclear crisis in Korean Peninsula after the year 2002, when the American Assistant Deputy Secretary James Kelly visited North Korea, and he was told by the North Korean official that the North Korea was ready to produce a nuclear bomb, and this was a great shock, and that began the second nuclear crisis
on the peninsula.
On the peninsula in that particular area. The six countries, of course, including China, Russia, the United States, Japan, and two Koreas, including South and North Koreas, just formed a kind of new platform for dialogues after the second nuclear crisis there. But actually, from the viewpoint of the North Korea, it always has been the 5-1. 5-1. What I mean 5-1 is one is North Korea that stick to the position that North Korea should have nuclear bomb or should have nuclear facilities rather than just have them dismantled. But the other five will have a totally opposite kind of position. They strongly demanded that North Korea's nuclear facilities should be dismantled, and North Korea felt that the other five were actually going to put pressure on the North Korea. So that's why North Korea feel very reluctant to follow any kind of agreement. So that after the first inception of the six-party talks in the year 2003, actually in August, till now has been sixth round, and to the seventh round, it just went suddenly to the stalemate. That means that this is actually North Korean side's problem, because North Korea would feel this is the kind of a very sour fruit to be swallowed. If North Korea should comply the agreement agreed in the six-party talks. So that's why six-party talks will be in the zigzag kind of process, up and down, and without any kind of meaningful or fruitful results.
Okay. And Professor Lee, we know that out of the six-party talks, the six countries that you mentioned, China certainly has been a very instrumental part for the success or the failure of the six-party mechanism. But Beijing, since its most recent crisis on the peninsula that took place a few months ago, Beijing has been very quiet. I understand there might be a lot of behind-the-scenes maneuvering between Beijing and Pyongyang, but the fact of the matter remains is, what is China's strategy? Because, as you mentioned earlier, China cannot be happy that nuclear, North Korea is now a reality. Okay, but China is also the only country that has some type of leverage over North Korea, both in terms of energy supply and also other raw material and foods. So for that matter, China's role and attitude and strategy will be very, very important. What is Beijing's attitude at this point? Because you don't hear much about what Beijing wants to do next, with North Korea, other than maybe reports of a secret visit by Mr. Kim to Beijing, you know, a few days later. But what is Beijing's strategy?
Well, I think this is a very good point, though, and also a good question. According to my knowledge, you know, just several days ago, when United States and China were having what they call strategic and economic dialogue in Washington. And both sides of United States and Japan decided that North Korea, accompanied by Iran situation or issues, will be part of the issues to be tackled.
Yes.
And they feel very, very strongly concerned about the situation over there.
Exactly.
Well, and actually, China, as you mentioned correctly, has been having a very, very big kind of leverage or influence vis-a-vis North Korea.
Yes.
Talk about the economic situation. Actually, North Korea has been in a very, very bad situation.
Yes.
You know, poverty in kind of natural resources, and also very bad malnutrition of its own people.
Exactly.
And also very isolated diplomacy. So that North Korea does need the support of the PRC.
Yes.
And China has been playing a role of a good office in each time of the six-party talks. So what China could do is to persuade North Korea to come back to the negotiating table.
Yes.
But sometimes North Korea will also feel reluctant to do so.
Really?
But China would not be able to push North Korea into the corner and then just give North Korea a kind of big blow.
Yes.
I don't think this is a very good policy, and would do some kind of very, very bad effect into the bilateral ties in between North Korea and China.
Yes.
Of course, the United States would try to ask China to do something to push the North Korean back into the table. But China sometimes will also feel awkward to do so because it will focus, the stable relations in between Pyongyang and Beijing. But according to the UN resolutions, in not only 1718 but also the 1874 resolutions, two resolutions that passed, regarding to the nuclear bombs, kind of explosions. Both the resolution got the support of the People's Republic of China.
Yes.
That means that even China has to support the resolution.
Yes.
According to the general will. Otherwise, China will be blamed by the world opinion as some kind of power without responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
But that will be contradictory to the bilateral ties, vis-a-vis Pyongyang.
Yeah.
So that I think PRC has a very, very
important,
kind of
role. Yes.
A complicated kind of situation when Beijing is going to keep stable relations with North Korea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, when we talk about the six-party, mechanism, another country we need to mention is, of course, the United States.
Yes.
The U.S. policy towards North Korea certainly went through a lot of, twists and turns in the past few years. From earlier on, under former President George W. Bush, the policies go through the multilateral approach and not deal with North Korea on a one-on-one basis. But that position was subsequently, changed in the early part of 2008 when the then Assistant Secretary of State, Chris Hill, met with the North Korean envoy in Paris secretly. And then there was some, direct contact and negotiation between the two countries. Of course, at that time, the six-party talk mechanism was already in suspension. Given that, do you think that United States under President Obama now will change its attitude towards the six-party talk, or maybe thinking of, hey, why not we have a direct dialogue with Pyongyang and try to bring it into the order that needs to maintain the regional peace and stability. What do you think?
Not only the United States, but also South Korea also has been suspected, about the result of the six-party talks.
Okay.
And according to Mr. Lee Myung-pak, he mentioned that he don't think that six-party talks would be so effective at all.
Okay.
So he tried to say something, but he didn't make sure that what else kind of mechanism should replace the six-party talks.
Okay.
No, of course, North Korea has been so technical, very good actually in
maneuvering.
Kind of maneuvering in between good advance or the other kind of spectrum, so that North Korea would successfully avoid its own responsibility. But as you mentioned, the United States has done some kind of bilateral talks with North Korea previously. In the year 1994, as you may possibly remember, that they had a Geneva framework of a nuclear agreement. So that's a kind of bilateral talks in between North Korea and America. But it still provoked the very strong reactions from Japan,
of course, from
China and South Korea. And they would think that the United States would possibly betray its allies. But this time, as you mentioned, American envoy, met the North Korean counterpart in Paris, or previously in Berlin, and later in Singapore. But I think Mr. Obama will still have to consider whether if his government would get the endorsement of its allies.
Parties to the multilateral.
That's right. If he goes too far. And well, of course, North Korea would appreciate it. To have the chance to have bilateral talks with Washington.
Directly with Washington.
But actually may not be able to come true.
We're going to take another short break, and we'll be right back to the Taiwan Outlook, and we will continue our conversation with Professor Li Ming, and we're going to shift the focus southward a little bit. We're going to talk about the South Korean politics recently. I'll see you in 2 minutes.